Alright, Gus, let's discuss Season 1 of Bel-Air. For those who haven't seen the original series, basically Will, the character you see here, gets into trouble back home and his aunt sends him to his rich family in LA. Don't know if it's just me, but this cast resembles other casts pretty decently, even the supporting characters. One thing I appreciate that this show is doing different than the other show, rather than just mimicking things to make it an easy cash grab, they actually have consistent character behaviors and motivations. Even if it's annoying, whining Will or annoying Carlton. But what helped me with those character traits was understanding they're teenagers and they're emotional at times. The main negatives for me are the limited family interactions and the fire generic pop music selection. I would love to hear more original stuff in there. That being said, still very likely to recommend the show. Alright Gus, let's discuss My Dad the Bounty Hunter. I'm very likely to recommend this show, and here's why. So number one for me is the writing. They don't write down to kids. They write in a way that everyone's able to watch it, and it's hilarious. I think there's even a adult joke in the end of the 9th or 10th episode. Next is, the animation is great. Starting with the design. The entire family are different shades of brown, so everyone feels included. Love the baby hair details and hair in general. The design of the villains have a sense of familiarity to them, like Pirates of the Caribbean you see at the top here, or Lilo and Stitch to the far right. The last parts are the great action, as well as it having touching storyline. So check this out. I'm hoping Netflix renews this for many more seasons. Alright Gus, let's discuss Animal Control Season 1. Not gonna hold you, I didn't have much faith in this show being good. I thought it was trying to cash in on riding the tide of Brooklyn Nine-Nine and the resurgence of The Office popularity, but it proved me wrong, and I'm so glad it proved me wrong. The writing is hilarious, the acting is perfect. Thankfully, if you watched my first review of the premiere, they picked up the pacing of the dialogue a little bit, so now it's more smooth, in my opinion. I think they knocked this one out of the park. So if you're looking for a new show, I would recommend Animal Control. There's going to be a season 2. It's already been renewed. So in the premiere, I said I'm very likely to recommend this show, and I'm still very likely to recommend this show. So check out Animal Control. Alright Gus, let's discuss Die Hard 2 Die Harder. Look, I'm not sure if this is a movie, TV movie, or a show, or both, or a miniseries, but what I do know is this show is absolutely hilarious. This one is way better, worlds better, like night and day compared to the first one. Just skip that one and come to this one. This may be my favorite Kevin Hart project to date, even more than Jumanji, and maybe even my favorite Kevin Hart character. I just love how aloof he is and everything. I don't want to spoil it. I'm even sorry for hyping it up too much, but I'm very likely to recommend this. Check this out. Alright Gus, let's discuss Inside Job. So Inside Job is about an antisocial genius and her dysfunctional team working to hide the world's conspiracies, and I'm very likely to recommend it. I usually don't like comparisons, but if you're going to compare it, it's kind of like Rick and Morty and Archer. It has great action, great animation, and smart, thoughtful writing. Heads up though, unfortunately it's canceled for now. Maybe hopefully we'll find a new home, but I think it's still a great watch. And last thing, I love how this is an adult animation and it's not that rated to just be raunchy. But like I said, it's written well and it's hilarious and witty. So check it out. Alright Gus, let's discuss. So this show is an Image Comics adaptation from a comic book series they ran from 2003 to 2018, mainly following this 17-year-old Mark learning about his new superpowers. And I'm very likely to recommend it. So the animation is very clean, it's very crisp. That goes without saying. It has a star-studded voice that really helps bring the story to life. But another thing that brings the story to life are an excellent lineup of writers. These writers have worked on a lot of huge hits like Stranger Things, Narcos, Rick and Morty, and The Boys and Teen Titans. And this show, the style of it is very similar to Young Justice, The Boys, and Teen Titans. What all those shows have in common is they weren't afraid to play with the genres they were working with in telling their stories. All right, Gus, let's discuss Beef. This show follows two people who get in a road rage incident that leads into chaos. And this is a wild, trippy journey. I really don't want to spoil this, so I'm just going to try to touch on a few points. These characters are so relatable, like on the topics of people pleasing, settling, a purpose in life, our autonomy. This hits it out of the park. On top of all of that, the comedy is found within the dramatic moments. There's no switching from, okay, this is a sad, self loathing moment to this is a silly, outlandish comedy. It's more like a organic fusion of the two. Well crafted, wonderful sound design, intense, and really hits home how every decision has some weight. One decision can lead you down the wrong path. So I'm very likely to recommend this show. This is like if Golden Girls just had three of the ladies and also followed their kids more closely, and the kids live closer. So I've seen the first three episodes, and this show definitely has a lot of potential. It's funny, witty. Uh, I'd say you should check it out. I'm very likely to recommend this show. All right, Gus, let's discuss season 5 of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. All in all, this was a great finish to a wonderful show. Everything we loved about the show came to the forefront, and to me, the only negatives were the time bouncing around in time, the kids not even getting a full picture on that. And that may be it. But for me, it's definitely a bounce back from the last season. And even if you're not going to watch this show or this season, I highly recommend watching the final scene of episode 8 and the middle to last scene in the final episode. They're very well crafted, well written, filmed, the filter on it. Everything was great. It was basically perfection in those two scenes that I'm referring to. So overall, I'm likely to recommend this season, but for the show itself, since this is the finale, I'm very likely to recommend. All right, Gus, let's discuss This Is Us. I'm very likely to recommend this show. It's a very simple premise of a family drama where we just follow the lives of a family of 5 through different times in their lives. And what I love most about it is how it's able to draw emotions, be relevant, and really highlight the importance of memories, something I believe in as well. The only negatives I have to say about it was I wish it drew out fleshed out more of its stories. It had some interesting stuff at the end of season 4 and beginning of season 5 that they could have went deeper into it, but the show is still good even without it. So this show has great writing, great set, great costume, great everything. So if you're looking for a show, this should be your next pick. All right, Gus, let's discuss Ted Lasso Season 1. So this show follows an American football coach who's hired to coach a soccer team or a football team in the UK, but he has zero knowledge on soccer or football whatsoever. And this show had a lot of hype, so I was worried going into it, but I completely get why it has this much hype. When you have a lead comedic actor who was on SNL in the 2010s, you already know what kind of humor you're about to get. Deep cut references and a bewildered, bumbling dialogue. That alone isn't able to carry a project by itself. But where Ted Lasso succeeds with that formula is by mixing it with genuine characters that are so relatable and make you feel for them. As different as they can be, you can see yourself in almost each of these characters, even the ones with just one-liners once in a while. So I'm very likely to recommend you check out this heart-filled comedic drama.